Okay. Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Bryn Brown, and I am excited to talk to you today about setting a schedule as an entrepreneur. Okay, so there's this thing that really drives me crazy, this corporate mentality. So societally speaking, in Western developed nations, especially in the United States, and also I would say generationally speaking, there has been this mindset around work, right? Where there is this story that we're told that we get a job. So you work for someone else and then you work really hard to earn your wages and your benefits. And you work your way maybe up the ladder, but you work your way to retirement. Okay. And so when we're in our job, working for someone else or this corporate idea, this schedule is sort of imposed on us, the 9 to 5, right? We're all familiar with the 9 to 5. And so we're not really taught as we go into entrepreneurship, oftentimes, that that may not be the correct schedule or rhythm for you. So that's what I want to talk about today, because what I found for myself to be true, and in particular, as I've learned more about human design and I've done chart readings for more and more people, we're all different, right? We're human. And even just as humans, forget human design, as humans, we're not designed to sit at a desk for 8 or 9 or 10 or 12 hours a day. I encounter people who work long, long hours, regardless of their human design type or how aligned or unaligned it is for them. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad or wrong ever to work long hours, okay? I'm saying that it's really important, especially as entrepreneurs, that we begin to understand what it means to be in our own rhythm. When we begin to work at our own pace and we operate from a place of functioning within energetic alignment, we actually work smarter, not harder. Your blessings will come to you faster and more frequently when you're operating in energetic alignment. So part of that is knowing and understanding what is your rhythm. So one of the things that I often talk about with clients, because I work with service-based entrepreneurs, is the time for money trade. Now, the time for money trade could be something that you want to really look at in your business in terms of the overall structure, is to how you can create income beyond just a time for money trade. And I know that that's a really flashy topic, especially for online businesses, not always, but for online businesses especially, this idea of getting out of time for money trade, because what happens is that now we have locked ourselves into this sort of corporate framework or this just way of being where we have to show up for X amount of days in order to earn a certain amount of money. And depending on your niche, we can raise our rates, but you may get capped out at some point. I work with people who have all kinds of different service businesses. So for example, a massage therapist, or Kathy, who is here watching live, she has a business where she does a manual therapy, where she is actually with people and animals in the moment, right? And she has to be there in order to practice what she does. Now, again, you can look at your rates, and that's one piece of the puzzle, but ultimately it's going to be really challenging to grow and expand beyond the hours that you have. When we start to look at what is natural for our rhythm and what serves us best, then we can start to think about ways that we can expand from a financial and a structural place within our business to grow beyond just what hours we can be there. What I really want to share with you today are the 3 things that can get you started in thinking about, well, what would that ideal day look like anyway? So those things are your energy, your creativity, and your inspiration. Okay. And so when we're looking at those 3 things, what I invite you to do is start to notice in your day-to-day where your energy is naturally high and when it naturally dips. For women, you may also want to consider where it is naturally high throughout the month and where it naturally dips throughout the month, so that you can begin to align with a more natural rhythm. one that nature intended. Again, it's not natural for us to sit at a desk or in front of a computer or on Zoom for 8 hours a day or 9 or more hours a day. We really do need to have movement and sunlight and meals away from a desk, and to really, again, get back in touch with a more natural rhythm. So thinking about what parts of your day do you naturally have more energy? I know for myself, when I am completely unstructured in my day, I notice that I'm more likely to get into movement around 9 or 10 a.m. That's what works best for me. That's provided that I actually get out of bed around 6 to 7 a.m. Now, since I've had a baby, that's different. She's a toddler now, but it's changed since having a baby. So my rhythm is a little bit different. So know that it can change for you as well, depending on, stages of life or things that you have going on. But also know that if there is this sort of balance that you find with a certain rhythm, that if you get out of that rhythm and things feel a little bit off, having that awareness to maybe move back into this other schedule that you had could really serve you. So think about the natural times where you have energy. Then when it comes to work, we can think about, well, if that's where my energy is, then perhaps I should be doing XYZ during those hours where my energy is highest. And then I can think about, in the low energy, in the dip of the day, things that can support me to sort of get back into, finishing out my day or pushing forward. And I kind of cringe when I say push forward, but moving forward throughout your day. So for example, if your energy naturally dips at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, perhaps we look at what we're consuming. So maybe diet, or maybe we just decide to have some gentle stretching or walk around the block to sort of bring the energy levels back up so that we can finish out our day feeling really good. So the other thing that we want to think about, right? Energy, creativity. When is your creativity highest? What sort of environmental factors influence how creative you are at any given moment? Now, one of the biggest challenges that I hear from entrepreneurs is I never know what to post on social media. I never know what to talk about. I don't know what to write about in a newsletter. Totally fair. And I have been there. I have hired it out and just handed it off to somebody else. That doesn't necessarily work, by the way. I mean, it's not to say that you don't want to hire that out, but you need to have a really strong voice and have a really solid hold on the creative piece of it before you're hiring that out. Just to hand that off for someone else to manage entirely isn't really going to work, because you need your soul to be infused into your business. But thinking about what gets you into a creative flow, when is your creativity naturally high? For a lot of people, water can actually help increase creativity. So perhaps in the shower, for example. So, and creativity and inspiration are similar. They are similar. So this may apply, some of these tips may apply to inspiration as well as creativity. But thinking about, when am I most creative? Is it when I'm in the shower? Is that when all the ideas come? Is it when I'm in movement? For me personally, when I'm walking the dogs around our neighborhood or going for a hike, I feel really creative. That's when my creative juices get flowing. Usually it's either early in the day or maybe mid-afternoon. So again, thinking about timing throughout the day, and then what's the environment. I also notice, for example, that when things are really untidy and messy, it feels chaotic, and my brain actually can't move into a creative state until things are tidy. So cleaning is one of my tools for getting into creative flow. It allows me to begin to think creatively because I'm cleaning up the space, and then it sort of clears the mental clutter as well. Inspiration is the final thing that I want you to think about. Inspiration, in spirit. This is a connection to a higher power. So when we feel stagnant or stale in our business, we feel stuck, like it's not going the way that it should go, or the direction it should go, or we're not really sure what to do. Oftentimes connecting in with our higher power can be really powerful exercises. So obviously meditation and visualizations are really great for spurring creativity. And I recognize that that's not for everyone, or maybe it's just a struggle. Meditation is a little bit hard, I'll admit, to get started in if it's not a regular part of your practice. But thinking again, environmentally, is it sitting quietly in front of the fireplace, or perhaps on a beach, or laying in the grass under the sun, where we're really just clearing our mind and inviting in your higher power, your higher self, God, the universe, to communicate, right? This source energy to communicate through you. And because I know that you all have servants' hearts. If you're listening to me, you're here to help people first and foremost, that you're really coming from a place of what is meant for me right now, and then using that to channel through into what you can implement in your business. But the inspiration is going to be the bigger vision piece. So do we have that as part of our rhythm, as part of our schedule as an entrepreneur? Now, when we think about scheduling, oftentimes you're going to hear about time blocking. And I just want to make a quick note on that, you guys, because not everybody's designed for time blocking. Not everybody's designed for time blocking. I am definitely not. I need a little bit more flow in my day. So what that looks like for me is that I actually limit the number of sessions that I'm having, because I know that it takes a certain amount of energy. And that if I exert all of my energy or overexert my energy, that I may not have enough energy left for creativity. Okay. So scheduling, thinking about your schedule, not necessarily just time blocking, and being okay, by the way, if time blocking isn't for you, or if it is for you, that's beautiful as well. So really scheduling in those pieces, but it might just be a matter of limiting how much you can schedule in each day. Okay. I'm just checking for any questions here. So if you guys have questions on this, definitely let me know, drop them in the comments and we'll get them answered. So think about what that schedule is, the daily rhythm, and how often you want to be working. As an entrepreneur, you get to decide. When I think about the strategy for my business, everything, my fees, my program structure, the days of the week that I work, how many hours I work, all of that is considered in when I'm thinking about, I consider all of that when I'm building out my overall schedule. So my fees have to make sense so that I can take Mondays for creativity and creative work, and Fridays are off so that I'm with my daughter and I can be off throughout the weekend. So I factor that in. Okay, if I'm going to condense in my client work to 2 to 3 days per week, how many clients can I realistically take on? What does that fee need to be? What is the structure of my programs, right? Because at a certain point, you know, when you're doing one-to-one client work, you're going to have to begin to scale that. So what other things can we implement? What other funnels do we want to put in place? All the tactics come as a result of this larger vision that is really rooted in the rhythm or the schedule that we have as an entrepreneur. And if it is a rhythm of just hustle, 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 go, go, go all the time, you're going to really limit yourself. And then you're headed straight for burnout. You're headed straight for lack of motivation. We're going to run out of creativity entirely, and everything's going to be an uphill battle. I don't want that for you. And you don't need to have that in your life. I think it's one of the most fun things that I do is help to validate for people that you get to build a business that you love. You get to design a business the way that you want it to look, not just this old paradigm that we were taught that you show up to work and you sit down and you work for X amount of hours a day and then that's it and you go home. That's not what this is about. If you're like me and your work is your passion and you love what you do and you love what you're putting out in the world, then no, you can do that in a way that really works with your energy and really serves you well. So I hope that whoever needed to hear that today hears that. Again, I welcome any comments or feedback or questions. Just drop them in the comment. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back to my regular schedule next week on Tuesday. We'll have a new class out for you. So until then, have a wonderful week and we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.